have a seat. So how are you?
Oh my god, goosebumps when I was watching that last nature great out
Right.
there. I'm like, guys, diba? Like, I got so amazed. I didn't know myself. I mean, growing up in Hong Kong 18 years, I've been to a couple of those places, but I did not know na ganun pala.
That is true because, thanks to Sir Jason's presentation, otherwise we wouldn't have known.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have known really. But, I believe it has been 3 years since you've been to Hong Kong. Now, as someone who frequents the country, Hong Kong, what do you miss the most?
Well, first of all, definitely my family and friends, and most especially my mom, right here. It's been 3 years almost. Since I've been back, and although, of course, thanks to technology, we're able to communicate every single day. Funny story, I'm sharing with Bill earlier. I was talking to my mom the other night. I was saying, like, Mom, it's been a while since I last saw you, and she told me that, you know what, son, I don't actually really miss you. Of course, as a joke, but that's because she said, because we talk every day, and kinikulit ko siya minsan for some of the office stuff, but let's not talk about those details. But of course, me, myself, I would love to see my mom again. It's been so long. And
it actually is really, really hard to not be able to see this person that you love dearly in person, right? So she has been based in Hong Kong ever since.
Yeah, she's been there for the last 3 years. And because of the quarantine, I couldn't fly there. She didn't want to fly over because,
right.
I mean, first from 21 days to 14 days
Correct.
to 7 days, that's still a lot of time. But yeah, definitely number one is friends and family, and most especially my mom. And number two, I guess I would say, is definitely
All right,
food.
yeah.
Oh my god, guys.
Agree.
The funny thing, another funny story.
My mouth is just watering right now, just look at
I know, right? Exactly. Earlier, they were asking me what do I want to order for breakfast, and I'm looking through the list. I was like, oh, wonton noodles. And then here we are. I mean, I didn't get to eat my wonton noodles. Where is it, by the way? Saan na ba? And then Bill, on the other hand, had like a whole Filipino feast because she lives in Hong Kong now. Okay, opposite kami. Like, she lives in Hong Kong and I based here, so I miss Hong Kong food a lot. I mean, again, Hong Kong food, I'm sure a lot of you guys who has been to Hong Kong, every single corner, there's a lot of like really amazing restaurants,
right.
And especially those local ones. Oh my God, what
yes.
I mean, after a night out, back then people would go to Choi Wa. You guys know what's Choi Wa? After a long night of clubbing, I see some people nodding right there. Ayan. And you would go to Choi Wa and you have that wonton mee, which is wonton noodles, or wonton ho, which is another type of noodles. Sorry, I'm just getting nostalgic now. I might cry.
If you're in Hong Kong, go anywhere, everything is good. The food, especially. Yes. Even the small restaurants along the streets.
Yeah.
Those
are the best.
Correct. Everything is good, and you could always look for the best dim sum in Hong Kong, and people will tell you this place, that place, this place, that place. So everywhere, everything is good.
And here's like a little small tip that I always tell my friends is that the ones that don't look so clean are the best ones. Not even joking, I swear. But I promise you though, it's clean usually. Like 99.9%. Malas ka lang pag,
if you got that 0.1%, right?
0.1%.
But come on, you only live once, diba?
Yeah.
Take the risk.
Yes.
That's 0.1% risk.
Yes.
Not too much, right?
Yeah. Oh, and one more tip I have to share. When you guys go to like those small restaurants around, the ones, let's say of course when you go to the fancy ones, they debone your meat, they remove the chicken bones and all that. Usually you have to go to the ones that are authentic, they don't remove the bone. Those are even better. Mas masarap, mas milasa pa.
Correct. Even tastier.
Yes, even tastier.
Now how about the transportation there? Because personally, when I'm in Hong Kong, you could always take the cab, right? But I don't want to take the cabs because I would rather go with the MTR, which is very, very convenient in my case. But how about you?
Correct. Yeah, for me, definitely transportation. I mean, come on guys, we're in Manila. From one end to the other end, it's like what, 2 hours sometimes on a good day? So from Hong Kong, like one end to the other end, at most, I think 45 to maybe 1 hour. I mean, from airport to the center of Hong Kong, 45 minutes, you're already there. So that's definitely something I really miss. And of course, the tram, the thing, what we call it also. Super cheap. I don't know what price it now. I think it's probably $2.50 now. Yeah, back then when I was younger, it was like $1 for kids and $2 for adults. Again, it's along Hong Kong Island, from one end to almost the other end. You can get to, you slowly go through the whole place and you get to experience and see the different changes along the way. I remember when I was a kid, from my place, we walked down to central area. We'll take it to go to Causeway Bay. Causeway Bay, I'm sure you guys all know, is where the shopping area is. And yeah, definitely miss that. MTR, as you mentioned, oh my god, the best. Legit the best. Anywhere you want to go. And the best part of that is, they keep expanding those lines. Like places that you don't even feel like you need to expand to, they expand to. And now they're all the way connected to like Ocean Park area too. And growing up, I wish they had that. I would have been there all the time.
Right. And even Disneyland, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes, Disneyland, yes, definitely. But Ocean Park, Disneyland, two different type of theme park. Ocean Park is where you see a lot of like animals. Also, Disneyland, of course, the happiest place on earth. So, I mean, if you go to Hong Kong, you gotta spend like at least 1 day on each place.
Convenience is the key.
Yes.
If you make it convenient for the people who want to go there,
Correct.
right, and visit different places that you are offering,
Yeah.
and that's what Hong Kong has to offer to their tourists, right?
Correct. And of course, lastly, I think I would like to add, then, it's the culture of Hong Kong. Culture of Hong Kong is very, we're very hardworking people out there, but at the same time, we know how to have fun. And I mean, that people always say, you work hard, you play hard. In Hong Kong, we work hard and play harder. That's how I really feel.
It's all about balancing things, right?
Well,
That's the key to life.
Yeah, but sometimes we play harder than we work hard. I'm kidding.
How it works for it depends on you. Whatever works for you, right? All right. So how has HKTV filled the void and helped you sort your Hong Kong cravings?
I am honestly so glad that we got to work on a project during the pandemic. Because I mean, again, me back then, I would always fly back to Hong Kong at least once, if not twice, in the last couple of years. Every Christmas, we would always spend it in Hong Kong as a whole family. But because of the pandemic, again, it's hard with all the quarantines. We always just stay in Manila, and I'm glad we did a project which is called the Juan in Hong Kong.
Yes.
And it was super fun because I got to look, eat, and feel like I was in Hong Kong when doing all those amazing stuff. And here's an example of that. And we worked on this project where we dressed up my place a little bit, and then they sent food over to me where it was very authentic from Hong Kong pa. And
you're very lucky.
Yes, very lucky. I got to at least experience and feel like I was there for a little bit during that whole shooting process. And of course, I got to meet Virginia virtually. I've yet to meet her in person. I hope to meet her in person very, very soon. And it was a very fun experience, of course, working with the Hong Kong production team also, where we started from pre-prod to like during prod and post-prod, where we were really discussing, and we got to speak in Cantonese also. I was like, oh man, it's been a while since I spoke Cantonese. So, yeah.
All right, so I believe we have something that we could share with people, right? A short snippet of this video. Maybe we could share that. Can we? Okay, let's watch this.
Why don't I take you on a day tour around West Kowloon?
I wanna eat like I'm in Hong Kong, feel like I'm in Hong Kong, look like I'm in Hong Kong.
Let's go!
Oh wow!
This is magic! You ready?
What? Now it just looks like I'm in Hong Kong.
All right.
And so that's West Kowloon, and West Kowloon is the place where I've yet to explore, and one of the places I definitely want to go check out because of all the new stuff that's there. And Virginia was the one that toured me around, and I had a lot of fun virtually and hopefully in person very soon.
Good news, Richard. I know someone who just returned from Hong Kong and is as excited to share her experiences with us, including that place you just mentioned. She is a Filipino actress, TV host, and model turned mompreneur, and she has been based in Hong Kong with her family in the past 2 years. Please welcome our second Hong Kong superfan, the gorgeous Miss Isabel Daza.
Hi, Richard. I'm enjoying you here on stage.
Hi, have a seat.
Thank you, and hi everyone. Thanks for being here today, and to the Hong Kong Board of Tourism, thanks for having us. We're so excited to talk about Hong Kong.
All right, first I'd like to say that you look so fresh as usual, looking gorgeous. All right, so how are you?
I'm good. I am so excited to share all the different things that Hong Kong has invested in, because I feel like the Filipinos are also missing Hong Kong. And it's true
Right.
because all my friends keep asking me when is it gonna open, and now it's finally open, and we're here to promote.
Yay! All right, so you just returned from Hong Kong, right? And I believe you had a chance to visit the West Kowloon Cultural District. So please tell us more.
Yeah, so okay, I've been, as like you guys, I've been going to Hong Kong ever since I was young. But I really didn't get to see the other side of there. And living in Hong Kong during the pandemic, I was able to explore. The Hong Kong Board of Tourism took me to the West Kowloon side because this is a development, as you saw earlier, that they took almost 20 years. They really invested in infrastructure and just building a beautiful space for people to come and enjoy the arts and culture. So as you can see, like there's a beautiful view, and you can walk in this park. You can go to the next slide. That's me. I visited, this is the M Plus Museum, and that's me with the curator. It was so special because my husband has been wanting us to go to the museum, but I'm just kind of like ignoring it. Because, you know, I prioritize other things, like a Filipino, we want shopping,
Right.
we want to eat. When I went on this tour, I can tell you, I was so engrossed, I didn't look at my phone because there were so many things that I learned that I didn't know I wanted to learn about, if that makes sense. I think that the M Plus Museum really is a show of visual arts and contemporary culture. And after I visited this space, I said, wow, I really needed that time to just appreciate art. And I kept thinking, like, why do we need to expose ourselves into this type of contemporary art? And it's a mix of getting to see, you know, other people's expression of themselves, obviously culture,
Right.
and also really getting to know the contemporary Hong Kong. All of these modern artists had something to say, and it was set in a way that was, I guess there was digital media, there was a sculpture, it was so interactive, it was so mind-opening that I really encourage a lot of our tourists to come and just take the time, even just 3 hours in the museum. I think your kids would love it. I think they have something for everyone. Yeah, sorry, I'm talking too much.
You know,
Okay, go ahead.
you're absolutely right, because you know we could always go shopping, eating, whatever, but sometimes it's always good to immerse ourselves in art, right?
I think it gives you something intangible that you can't directly, like, you know, when we buy something, it's like, okay, I have this back.
Right.
But when you go to an exhibit and an exhibition, it's a different kind of inspiration that really pokes at your creative side, and you see how people express themselves. And after I came from there, I'm like, I want to take up more pottery and I want to do this, because I was so inspired by how everything was curated. The curator said that they now are bringing in Yayoi Kusama, and it took them 4 years to close that deal.
Wow.
It's an international artist. It's going to be on for at least 2 years. They're renovating it. So I really see the investment they have in arts and culture, and I enjoy it so much.
And I'm sure visiting museums like this is really an experience, right? It's really an experience that you don't want to miss out.
So the Hong Kong government, what they did was they had a foresight into seeing that actually arts and culture plays a huge role in development, right?
Right.
So they created this M Plus Museum with international architects, and the architecture, the landscape, the qualitative materials they use, everything is a feast for the eyes. I don't know if I'm doing it justice, but I encourage Filipino tourists to come to the museums because it's something that I think is very different from the usual. Of course, we all love Disneyland and Legoland.
Yes,
We'll talk about that later. But this is something that's not highlighted, and Hong Kong has really spent on showcasing its culture. So here I am at the Hong Kong Palace Museum. And this is another museum that they also spent 7 years to build. See, I was really attentive because everything was so interesting. And all of these ornaments were preserved from China in the Forbidden City, which is where the emperor lived. And then, you know, you have the first ever milk tea pot. And this is how they drank it. This is a silk thing that they have to store every 4 months because it's very precious. And this gives a big insight into Chinese culture. And I was like, how come the Chinese always have dragons everywhere? And then natawa yung curator, he was like, yeah, that's true. It's a mix of a snake and a tiger, and it's a very mythical creature that shows power. Because in all of their ornaments, there were dragons.
Right.
And elephants for good luck. So it was just so eye-opening because I didn't know that I wanted to know more about the culture and history of Hong Kong.
And if I'm not mistaken, you could also walk by the bay
Yeah.
near this place.
Yeah, so everything is walking distance, and then you have a beautiful, oh, that's not yet. Everything is walking distance, and there are a lot of cute cafes and third wave coffee shops. I think right now this generation has also found a new appreciation for like coffee and when they do those pour over things. Hong Kong has a lot of great coffee shops that you would love. My husband loves going to them. He goes to a new one every other week. So yeah, in the West Kowloon district, there are a lot of like really cool, small, specialty coffee stores.
And I'm sure hanging out there would be really relaxing too, right?
A lot of people hang out there, and there is an area where they do like the jazz festival. Parang they created this multimedia space that you do different events every month.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty diverse and cool.
And it's something new for people who haven't been there, right? Okay, so I didn't know, again, honestly, like what Richard mentioned earlier, I didn't know that Hong Kong is also famous for its, trails and outdoor activities, because all I know would be the shopping and the eating, like Causeway Bay, Landmark, Times Square. Those are what I'm familiar with. But for you guys, which ones have you gone to, and which places are your favorites when it comes to the outdoor activities?
Okay, so like most Filipino tourists, when I go to Hong Kong, I always go to the same places like you mentioned, shopping, Causeway Bay. But when I moved there and I met locals, and my husband is a big outdoors guy, he would take us on a new trail every week. And so I love the Lantau Peak Trail. It's a bit harder. It's 3 hours to get to, and I did it when I was like pregnant with my second son.
Wow.
But it's so beautiful. And then when you land, there was like Buddha exhibits, and there are temples. And then if you want like very easy trails, I would say maybe the Peak. There's one Big Wave Bay, which is 30 minutes, and you land at the beach, and it's called Big Wave because there are a lot of waves there, and there's a really good restaurant to eat. The fish and chips is delicious. So I'm so familiar because I was living in Hong Kong for 2 years, and we did this every weekend. Camshaft Park is a park where you can take your kids, and there are hundreds of monkeys, and you can it's a very easy walk. And it's just a nature walk, and there are monkeys all over. Of course, you're not supposed to feed them, otherwise, they're all gonna rush to you.
Right.
But if you just walk, they won't bother you. And that is great for the kids. And if you just wanted to be outside and breathe fresh air, Camshaft Park is amazing. Tai Tam Reservoir, it showed a while ago. It's by the dam, and it's in the shaded area, so it's very cool. I really suggest people explore this place, especially after the pandemic. We kind of want to be outdoors and really experience that nature side. So that's what we did for fun in Hong Kong, and we still do that.
And how about you? Have you tried all these trails?
Growing up in the fact in school, we were kind of like semi-required to do all these stuff. Like there will be like a couple of days where, hey, we're gonna go on a trip to do all these trails. And I remember we actually had a competition, one of the sports day or something, where we would run through the trail. Like there was a race, and we would run through from one end. I think from the Peak Trail, we start from the Peak Trail all the way to Big Wave Bay, which is the end of it, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's I think it's like 20 kilometers. We called it the Rainbow Trek back then in our school, and we would literally race, and whoever wins, gets, I don't know, like bragging rights or something. That's pretty much it. But those were amazing. And then of course there's the Dragon Back Trail that goes up and down. It sounds hard, but when you do it, it's not that hard, especially during winter. And I strongly suggest my friends who go to Hong Kong to always check out all these trails during winter. Don't do it during summer. I mean, you're just gonna kill yourself for being that hot. But during winter and during spring, those are the best times.
When the weather is really nice. Yes, no.
No, I was just gonna say that I think what's very unique about Hong Kong is that aside from it's such a cosmopolitan city, you can take 15 minutes and you can be in Sheko Beach and it's like beautiful, right? And then you can take another 15 minutes going up near the peak and you can do a trail that's very accessible, it's free. I think my kids definitely enjoy nature so much more because we live in Hong Kong and we have the access, which a lot of Filipino tourists don't know that this is something that people actually enjoy, or the kids will enjoy, which is basically going outdoors. And yeah, most of all, it's free and it's fun.
Can I also just add the fact that I think a lot of Filipinos have this misconception that Hong Kong is small. Hong Kong is honestly not that small. It's only small because you're just at the Camshaft Park area, Causeway
Right.
Bay, Central.
That's where we always are.
IFC, that's it. But then there's so much more to explore
It's
that
so
people
true.
don't know. Like in terms of landmass, I mean, I'm being a geek here, but like in terms of statistics, like the mass of Manila, I mean, the land area is actually half of Hong Kong. Hong Kong is double the size of Metro Manila, and that's because we have all these amazing trails,
Right.
all these amazing like concrete. I know, not the jungle area, whatever you want to call it, but we're not just the concrete jungle.
Yeah, I agree. So these are photos of me. So one day my son didn't have school because it was a public holiday. My husband said, okay, let's go somewhere. And we rented a small boat. It doesn't cost too much. And I learned wake surfing. Can you imagine? We took a 25-minute taxi ride and we just did wake surfing for 4 to 5 hours. It's affordable. It's a new sport that we tried. It was fun. My son naman, he was kind of swimming in the ocean. We were invited on a boat and we went to this area. It's called Millionaire's Bay. It's white sand. It's really pristine. But I guess a lot of people also don't know is that Hong Kong makes everything so accessible. They have a lot of transport. They have ferries. You can go. We went to this island called Llama Island. If you Google it, it's an island where they don't allow cars, and they have like third wave coffee shops and vegan restaurants, and it's really like cool and indie. A lot of expats live there, but nobody really knows about it. So we really took the time to explore all these places. We also went to like obviously Sai Kung. We went to Lower Shumsha Beach. There's a lot of Filipinos there, so it really also feels like home when you see it. You know, kababayan, and they'll always help you out. Yeah.
You know, how come I don't know any of these places,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And I mean, we are always there in Hong Kong, right? From time to time, especially pre-pandemic. Now, I have a quick question for everyone. Have you guys ever heard about these places that we have just mentioned? Show of hands. Oh, yes, you do.
There's one person.
Oh, we have more. All right. So they
Not
are.
even the Hong Kong people. they're like.
So they are the minority who know about all these stuff we're talking about right now. Okay, so of course, to the rest of us, I really hope we all get a chance to visit these places the next time we go to Hong Kong, right? Not just again the shopping and the food. Not that we're saying that we have to not shop, not eat, but just go there and enjoy all of these museums, hiking trails.
Yeah, I mean, what I would actually love to do is like make my own itinerary for, let's say if you're a family with kids, and then I can give my recommendation, because I'm so like, pakialamera, right? Like I'm like, no, you have to go here, you have to go there. And then my uncle naman, he usually does food tours, and I was like, you should do a food tour in Hong Kong of all the local spots, and take people to places that we don't necessarily would go to, because Hong Kong has roast goose, like nowhere else in Southeast Asia has the best roast goose like Hong Kong.
Okay, so speaking of recommendations, what can you recommend? Because again, we all know Hong Kong is a melting pot of culinary delights, right? So we could always go there and enjoy the best food. But what will be your recommendations?
I have a lot, so it really depends. Like if some people need, let's say, a night out in a formal without kids, then I would say if you want Chinese food, you can go to Mott 32. They have a really good char siu pork, roast duck, it's delicious. If you're just kind of like a tourist going around the city, you want to try something very unique, there's this place called Brass Spoon, and they specialize though in Vietnamese, but it's so good. Zagin Soba, they only have like 4 things on the menu. They have like chukomen ramen and then like chicken wings. There's always a line, but it's absolutely worth it. Hong Kong is such a melting pot of different culinary places. So I was just telling my friends last night, because we were looking for a bar to come here in Manila. And I was like, if you guys came to Hong Kong, there would be an endless number of wine bars, also mixologists. So Hong Kong has like the best cocktails in the world. So if you, for example, are entertaining guests and you guys want to have yummy cocktails, there's just so many places. There's Casio, there's all these cool new places that opened up. Yeah, and then obviously for kids, my gosh, there's endless places to go. There's Disneyland. I don't even have to speak much about it. Disneyland itself, you need one whole day for Disneyland because you're gonna ride the rides and then you're gonna, do the light show at night. You're gonna do some shopping. You're gonna eat there. They have a good Chinese restaurant inside. What I did discover with the Board of Tourism is they sent me to Legoland. And I'm talking so much. Tell me if I'm talking too much. But
I'm very interested. I'm really interested.
So Hong Kong just developed K11 Museum, which is a mall that is a museum. Guys, it's a mall that's a museum. Like, can that be any more us? So when you go there, it's just so beautifully crafted and designed. Even the elevator, mapapa, like, wow. So in the K11 Museum, there's an area for kids. You go down, it's all shopping for kids, and then there's a play area for kids. And then you have Legoland. So we went there. My son, Balti, he's 4.5, and then I have another son, Valentine, who's 1.5. They were throwing tantrums when we had to leave. I was like, guys, we can't stay here the whole day. We went through Legoland, and it's just a feast for the eyes. It's so much fun because you see Hong Kong built in a Lego, and then there's rides inside Legoland. There's a 4D cinema. So while we're watching, we're being a little bit wet. We can smell something like, oh my gosh, it's just so much fun because they really think of the family. Sometimes you go somewhere and it's not kid friendly. You're like, can I get a high chair? And they don't have it.
Right.
Okay, K11 is not that. It's the mall for the family, but it has something for everyone. There's an incredible beauty section, and you can really see how they've just kind of paid attention into building stores. Honestly, if you just go there, you're gonna appreciate the stores, the lighting, how they display products, how they do the packaging. I am just so impressed with how they do it there. Everything is thoughtful. Even the music that they play, they think about, okay, this for the kids section, on level 2 and level 3, it's a different type of music. I don't know, it's for me to say, I always like to learn something new. So as a tourist, I come there, but then when I leave K11 Museum, I'm like, wow, the mix of brands that they created here was really thoughtful. Like, who would think to put, this store beside a burger shop, but it worked. So
it's all about creativity, right?
Yes.
And of course, what we're saying, if you have kids in tow, again, these are the best places to go, right? Disneyland, Legoland, Waterworld. Again, the Waterworld is a theme park as indoors. We saw that in the video earlier.
Yeah, so I did. I went to Waterworld and we spent one whole day there. For the families who want to go to Hong Kong, I think Waterworld and booking in the Fullerton is a good idea. My friend booked there. So there's something for everyone, even if you're kind of older and you don't want to do all the big rides. There's a very chill ride that I did 5 times with my 1-year-old. And then it's just very safe. That's what I was talking about earlier. In Hong Kong, you don't feel like you can walk around at 3 a.m. and it's very safe. And also in somewhere like Waterworld, there are a lot of lifeguards. People are always kind of telling you, don't run here, you might slip. But more than that, they have really thought of different activities for children of different ages. So for example, my 1.5-year-old had so much fun in his little play area versus my 4-year-old who did the super slide versus my husband, who's really my firstborn child, who's 35, and he was jumping around doing all the scarier things.
So they have something for everyone.
And I know it sounds so cliche, but Waterworld was a really great temperature. You don't come in and you're like, I'm lamig. No, it's very comfortable, and it's just so entertaining.
And of course, again, these are all the places that we are all looking forward to visit when the time comes we go back to Hong Kong, because as they have mentioned earlier, the restrictions are easing up already. So that's good news for everyone. So again, we'd like to say thank you to both Richard and Belle for sparing us their most precious time, sharing with us so many things. Come on, let's give them a big hand, everyone. Thank you to our Hong Kong super fans.
Thank you so much. I feel like I didn't have enough time, but I said a lot of things already. So hopefully when you come to Hong Kong, you'll tag us. and ask us
I
questions.
thought-
Because I always reply and be like, you should go here, you should go to this place.
I thought we can visit you at your home. Not that. Just tag you. All right. So thank you very much once again.
Thank you.
Again, a big hand please for Richard and
Thank you so
Bill.
much.
Thank you very much for sharing your experiences with us.